Alright, so today we worked on equivalent formulas, which can be really useful if you want to change around a formula so that it works for you. So for example, we just started with this formula. If I know the Celsius temperature and I want to find Fahrenheit, I use this formula because I plug in 22 degrees Celsius, I multiply it by 9/5, so that's times 9 divided by 5 in your calculator. I add 32, and I get 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And now if I'm a person who's from the United States, and I wanted to know, like Jabari wants to know, oh, it's 22 in Austria. Okay, like what is that in Fahrenheit? I'm used to Fahrenheit. He would use this formula. But what would I do? How would I change this formula if I want to know that if I know the Fahrenheit and I want to know what the Celsius it is, what the temperature is in Celsius. So I want an equivalent formula. I want to solve this for C, so I'm going to manipulate the equation, change it around using everything you've already learned, adding the same thing to both sides, multiplying both sides by the same number, dividing both sides by the same number, etc. So now I want to manipulate this equation so that instead of saying F equals, it says C equals. So the first step is to subtract 32 from both sides of my equal sign, my equation. And on the left side, I'm going to put it in brackets. And the reason I'm going to put it in brackets is I have to find this first before I do anything else. On the right side, when I subtract 32, I'm just left with 9/5 of C. And now I want to get it so that C is by itself. So I have to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 9/5, which is 5/9. And 5/9 times 9/5, they're reciprocal, so they equal 1. So I just take them out. And on the left side, I just multiply this entire thing by 5/9. And I can just leave it like this, because now to use it, if I know it's 78 degrees and beautiful day, a beautiful spring day in San Francisco, and I say, well, what is it in Vienna? Well, I put 78 in for F. I subtract 32. That gives me 46. I multiply by 5 and divide by 9, and that gives me 25.6 degrees Celsius. So I just manipulated the equation so that it says C equals. So that's what we did today. So here's a formula for finding the volume of a cone. But let's say that I know the volume. Let's say that I know the volume and I know the radius and I want to find the height. So I want to make it say H equals. So the way that I get rid of the 1/3, because I have to get rid of everything here so H is by itself, I multiply both sides by the reciprocal of a third, which is 3. So that gives me 3V on the left, and on the right side, that gets rid of my 1/3, because 1/3 of 3 is 1. And now I want to keep H, so I want to divide both sides by pi r squared. And now I have H equals 3V over pi r squared, which is what this says. So if I knew the volume, I would multiply it by 3. I would divide it by the product of pi times the radius squared. And what that would give me after the division is the height. All right, then you practice some. So I wanted to solve this to say y equals so I could enter it in my graphics calculator. So we subtracted 5x from both sides first. Then we divide every term by -2. I want to get rid of this -2, so I divide every term by -2. That gives me y equals 100 divided by -2 is -50. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. So it's 2.5x. And now I could put it in my graphics calculator. So will you guys just practice? So if I want to get this to say y equals, I just subtract 8x from both sides, and I have y equals 20 minus 8x. I want to get this to say y equals, so I subtract 4x from both sides, divide every term by -8, and this gives me y. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 40 divided by 8 is 5. Negative divided by a negative is positive, addition. And 4 divided by 8 is a half. And there's my x. Okay, we wanted to solve this for t. So say t equals. So I'm going to multiply both sides by t because I can't get rid of this numerator without getting rid of the denominator first. So if I multiply both sides by t, I end up with d equals t times r. This is rate times time. And now I just divide both sides by r, and I have my time is equal to my distance divided by a rate. So here's my distance, 500 kilometers. I'm driving my rate at 100 kilometers an hour, and 500 divided by 100 means it would take me 5 hours. So this is t, this is d, and this is r. So it totally makes sense. And then we did this one for d. So we started with r equals d over t, And if I wanted to say d equals, I just multiply both sides by t. Rate times time equals distance. If I'm going 100 kilometers an hour for 5 hours, I go a total of 500 kilometers. And on your project, d is the same thing as w. It says let w be the distance from Vienna to your city in Europe. Okay, this was solving for h. This is a trapezoid, and if I know the area of my trapezoid and I know the bases and I want to solve for and I want to find the height, I just transform this formula. So the first step is multiply both sides of the equation by the reciprocal of a half to clear my fraction. 2 times a half is 1, so it's gone, and this is 2a. And then I want to get h by itself. Well, this is h times all of this, so I'm just going to divide both sides by everything in brackets. That's a 1, take it out, and I'm left with base 1 plus base 2 in the bottom. So the height is equal to twice the area divided by the sum of the two bases. And this had to do with your shoe size. So we wanted to transform this equation, so it says f equals. So first thing is to add 24 to both sides, and then divide every term by 3. And now I have f equals 24 thirds is 8 plus, and s divided by 3 is the same as a third of s. And Christina wasn't quite sure of that, so I said, what if you had 99 euro? What's a third of it? Well, a third of 99 euro is 33 euro. What's 99 euro divided by 3? 33 euro. So s divided by 3 is the same thing as 1/3 times s. Okay, this was surface area of a cylinder. So we wanted to solve this for h. So the first thing we did was subtract this from both sides. We have s minus 2 pi r squared equals 2 pi r h. And now we just have to divide everything by 2 pi r, and it will be h is equal to, h is by itself. So when I divide both sides by every term by 2 pi r, this stays the same, nothing to simplify, but 2 halves is a 1, take it out. Pi over pi is a 1, take it out. R squared is r times r, so this 1r divided by that r is a 1, take it out, and all I'm left with on top is r. So it's s divided by 2 pi r minus r equals the height of my cylinder. Alright, so you have another hour and 5 more topics by Friday. Friday is project day, so make sure you have your computer and it's charged.